I mean, just show of hands. Who here wants to be married? Get married? Everybody? Okay.
Already.
Now, do you want the guy, just show of hands, do you want the guy to propose to you? Is that everybody? Hands high, please.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So starting with you, do you want your husband to do the get down on one knee thing to propose to you?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you? Or did your husband do that?
Yeah, he did.
What about you?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So hold on here just a second. I would argue that kneeling is a bitchier move than bowing. In addition to that, you also want your husband to spend money on a ring. Now, some of you seemed a bit modest in terms of how much you want him to spend, but you want him to get down on one knee and essentially beg, begging for your hand, like a quivering, begging dog. Why is it okay for women to say, I want a man to get down on one knee? And I would argue kneeling is more pathetic. I don't view bowing as pathetic, but whatever. If your thing is, oh, it's so pathetic for a woman to bow, why is it not objectionable then for a man to do that?
I think if he wants me to bow to him, he can get down on one knee.
Honestly, bowing, you're looking down. Kneeling, you're looking up. And
That's to be lower, that's way more submissive.
you have to do it one time. One time in your life.
Sure.
That is it.
In addition to that, if the man's
Hopefully
the
once.
breadwinner, he's essentially getting down on one knee.
Right.
If the man's the breadwinner, he's also not just getting down on one knee. He's not just saying, I want to be with you forever. He also says, in the event that you ever change your mind, you're going to financially destroy me. That's also what that means. How about that?
Sorry.
Checkmate.
I totally zoned out. I didn't even hear you.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
I think it's based off like what everyone wants. Like I know like you're for no bowing, but I feel like in the video it's showing that the man is coming home from like a hard days of work and she's been at home preparing for him, and basically like I feel like the bow is showing like a sign of thank you, because he's basically the one, I'm assuming, paying for the house, paying for the food that she used to cook for him. I feel like a bowing is not everyone has to do it, of course. Like, I mean, it's based on communication with you and your partner. Like, Brian, I don't think you should assume that your first date someone would bow to you unless you openly say, please bow to me. I mean, like, I don't know if they'll swipe or whatever that works, but I feel like it's based off like the relationship you have with your partner. If that person is working hard day in, day out, not saying that you're not at home, but that's like a small factor that can like help them maybe wanting to come home. Maybe it'll give them a feeling that like they feel a sense of like reward, that they took care of you in an aspect. Like it's like they said, the dominant versus submissive type of stuff, I feel like.
If you have really, really, really earned that bow, then sure.
Yeah, I don't even think that.
Oh, I don't need to earn it on the first date.
Oh, yeah.
To McDonald's?
I don't need to.
It's pursuing that is
F
sort
that.
of bizarre.
Pursuing what?
Somebody that's
F
going to
all of
bow
that.
for you. If that came
What
to
if
be...
I told you that, for example, if a woman's initiating with me and she watches the show, would you object to, under those circumstances, object to me wanting a bow?
Because
I would say every single girl here at the table, for a guy you like, you'll do way more than a fucking bow. Trust me.
I would bow
Trust
to my
me.
guy if he
You'll
had
do
that.
way
That's
more
facts.
than a fucking bow for a guy you really like.
That's facts.
But I would expect.
I ain't dealing
Yeah.
with these chicks on dating apps who are dating three guys at the same time. They're fucking two other dudes. I ain't dealing with those chicks. Maybe that's how y'all move. I don't deal with those kind of girls.
That's facts.
I'm dealing with a girl who's only interested in me.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. B. I used to bow to people all the time, right before they threw me all over the mat and kicked my ass like it was their job. It is a sign of respect, is not earned, it just is. These girls are broke.
Yo, Grid 1, good to see you in the chat, bro. Wait, what? Right before they threw? I used to bow to people all the time?
I think he's talking about his karate teacher or something.
Oh, you know what's crazy? Grid 1, me and him, we took like an Aikido class. This guy's a fucking Aikido black belt.
Gosh.
He's got that fucking Aikido.
I thought Aikido was a stick.
Okay. I think it's Aikido. What's the thing that, what's that guy? Who's the guy who does a keto. What's his fucking name? The famous actor guy. What's his name? Who did a keto?
Nickelodeon donated
Steven Seagal.
$200.
Thank you.
Please don't let the autist read more comments. The girls can't vote, but men have to open doors, pay for dates, fill the gas for you, take the bullet. P.S. Rocky Peaks is the stripper in Chartreuse Smile.
Dude, Nickelodeon, good to see you in the chat, man. Well put. Very much appreciated. Well, you have all these gender expectations of what a man ought to do, but like a bow is pretty benign. Speaking of which, I'll save the bullet conversation for later, but the big argument we had last show is, so you want a man to take a bullet for you, but you want a man to literally die for you. I know some of you said, oh, if the Grim Reaper
I don't want my
comes-
man to die, period.
Right, but if
But-
like in this hypothetical scenario where one of you has to take a bullet, I mean, for example, you said you prefer you'd want the guy to die for you. Well, I didn't ask you the bullet question. You did the Grim Reaper question. So that's where you have it's pretty much the same, but you want men to be in some self-defense scenario, you would want a man to literally protect you to the point of would put his life on the line in order to protect you in a self-defense scenario. But y'all won't bow? That's crazy, son.
I think ultimately,
Honestly,
though,
Crazy, son.
When he put it in a perspective like that, it make complete sense.
Well, he's great at putting things in those kinds of perspectives. But
But
let's just say this.
I still don't. It gives
if
me
my
the ick.
husband was like,
I don't
honey,
like it.
I would really appreciate it if you would bow to me. My husband is Asian, by the way.
W.
So it wouldn't
No,
be
wait,
like
what's his
totally.
name? What's his name?
His name is Wisdom.
Wait, that's his.
That's his
His
name.
name was. His
Yeah.
name was Wisdom. He got a name
His
change?
name is Wisdom.
Oh, is. I heard it was. So.
Is
Yo, W's in the chat for
currently.
wisdom. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But if he
'Cause-
asked me if he was like, honey, like I really want you to bow to me, like it
Ew.
might hit me as like
Oh my
it
God, that's
might throw me
terrible
off
to
a little
ask
bit
you.
at first, but like I wouldn't be opposed to it because like honestly I put his needs above my own.
There you go.
So I would do it.
Cool.
I mean
I think
that's definitely a hot take.
Angelic, what you
I
got?
think like love at the end of the day is selfless and unconditional. I think we can all agree here that when we're in love with someone, we would go extreme lengths for that person. So it's like right here in this table, we may be like, oh my gosh, like, oh, that's crazy. But if someone we're in love with asked us to do that, we probably would do that. And like he said, way more.
Love makes you do crazy things.
It does.
But that's
I want the
thing.
praise kink to be reciprocal. So if he expects me to bow, then yeah, I want my car door opened, and then I have no problem bowing. But if there's not that reciprocity, then like,
Because I think like the bow like historically is coming from a place of like you're bowing to somebody who is not your equal, who is like kind of above you, and in a partnership, in a relationship,
Since
you are to
when
treat each
hold
other
on.
as equals.
Hold on. Since when have women ever wanted their equal? You think women
We are
going
created
for their
equally.
Equal? Okay, equal in life value. But do you think women actually want their equal?
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Well,
like,
I'm
what
not
do you
saying
mean
this is the
they're
case.
equal?
I'm not saying this is the case for all women, but women typically want, for example, a guy who's more charismatic than them, a guy who's more interesting than them, a guy who's more entertaining than them, a guy who makes more money than them. So we're not
A
equal.
guy who's more competent across domains.
A guy who's more confident than they are.
Well, yes, but I wouldn't say that like he's more valuable than me.
Well, it
And I think when
depends
you
what-
bow-
it
different
depends.
values.
Like she was saying, like, you know, like in Asian culture, you bow to your grandparents and things like that. It's like, I wouldn't see my husband as that. Like, I would see him as like, we are an equal, but like, yeah, I don't want to live my life without him. Like, I do definitely,
Yes, well,
there's a lot of value in his life, but I don't see it as like, he's more than me or he deserves more than me. Like, I think we kind of reciprocate each other and there's an ebb and flow.
right. But so in terms of obviously like your value as a human being, yes, men and women are equal.
And that's why I think the bowing is an obstruction on that.
Okay, do you want a guy to pay for a first date?
The first, well,
You've answered this question
yes,
before. I'm almost confident.
Yeah.
I'm very confident you said yes. Okay, that's not very equal.
I would, because he's asking me to go on the date, so he's
Have
like,
you ever asked a guy out on a date?
no.
Interesting how that works out. So,
Not really.
well, hold on. If men de facto have to be the initiators because women refuse to initiate ever, then then of course men have to be the initiators then. If women refuse to initiate or do so infrequently that a man would
Well, I
never
think
find a
I think
woman if
it's-
he didn't initiate, then yes.
It's in your nature to pursue women.
Oh, so we're not equal then.
No, I'm saying it's in your nature to pursue women. We have things in our nature too.
But wouldn't a bow, in a sense, be a mark of reciprocity in terms of how men are naturally the ones who typically fund the relationship? They're typically the ones who put in more effort into getting you. I think that's fair. Especially if he's the breadwinner, he pays the bills, he's taking care of you, he's willing to risk his life for you. A bow would simply be a gesture of appreciation. That's reciprocal.
In today's
for what he
economy,
does.
that's not always the case. So
I mean, it still is the majority of the time, though. We ain't saying always.
Sure, but like I said, the reason I think it's a slippery slope is because
The bow is a slippery
the bowing,
slope. A man
it
paying
could
for a first
lead
date's
to
a slippery
other things
slope.
like what more is he gonna want? That's gonna make me feel a little bit degraded. You know, like, does it stop at the bowing?
Wait, isn't slippery slope a
fallacy.
fallacy?
Yeah, it's a fallacy.
Yeah,
it's definitely a fallacy.
fallacy.
Yeah, it's a fallacy.
Logical fallacy.
Okay, so listen, you can date a girl who's gonna bow for you. I'm sure she'll do it if she wants to do it.
Hold on, I'll actually.
It shouldn't
engage
be
you.
a standard.
I'll actually just engage you on the slippery slope thing. Okay, so do you think I have like these devious, like I'm some 50 Shades of Grey thing? I'm actually pretty vanilla, to be honest. I mean, I actually don't particularly like super rough sex. I prefer gentle sex. I'm just being super honest right now. Don't have any like super crazy kinks. I don't want to beat you up in bed. Y'all are actually, it's the women that want to be choked and slapped around and shit, which I don't want to do. So yeah.
Okay.
What?
Maybe she's like, I'll bow for you, but you have to take a bullet for me.
Slippery slope. Who are the women who are buying 50 Shades of Grey is like the best-selling fucking book. It's y'all who are all twisted and demented in the head. Sorry, I got loud there.
Wow.
It was one of the most popular books ever. Y'all are the ones with like demented and twisted sexual fantasies and fetishes. Don't get me wrong. There are guys who are out there who are what's it called? No, it's
BDSM.
Sadists. There are absolutely men out there that are sadists. But a bow is very benign, and I don't think that would be indicative of him like he wants to like abuse you like that's crazy.
I don't think a bow is benign.
How is it not benign?
I just like I said, like
It just intuitively feels demeaning to them.
it really does, and I think most women would agree with that.
But it's not.
It feels like that.
I
though.
know, but it's not.
Oh, you got the feminist mind virus.
Don't call me a
You got-
feminist because
you-
I am not a feminist.
If you weren't a feminist, you wouldn't object to the bow.
No.
What?
Can I
That's
say
such a
one more
blanket
thing
statement.
on this?
If this, then this. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, you can choose to have that. You can choose to be attracted to that. I'll let you work through that. I don't know what you're going through, but you can work through that.
Why is it that women tend to always, like when a man has a preference, standard, or boundary, they want to pathologize it? It's always like you want to shame, what's that sign? Shame, insult, guilt.
Yeah.
And then what's the fucking N stand for? Sign? Anyone in the
Need
chat?
to be right.
Need to be right.
Yeah.
Like, women can desire, it's actually funny, if a man desires a submissive woman, oh, predatory. But if a woman wants a dominant man, well, that's you go, girl. You get your dominant man. Why is it that women can desire all these things in men, no qualms, but if men desire anything in women,
Because
it's always like
because they think a man is trying to take advantage of them, and I think that's extremely bad faith. That's basically what it boils down to. You dating a guy wants a submissive woman, a guy wants a woman who does XYZ for him. You think he's trying to take advantage of you, and he's trying to somehow demean you, and that's not the case. I really hate that mentality in women. Why would you think a man is trying to take advantage of you? Yeah, there are guys who take advantage of women, but that's not what the average man who's dating a woman is trying to do.
I don't think he's saying
Yes, it
that
is.
in terms of like
Yes, it
wanting to
is.
take advantage. And I didn't go there in my head. What I was more so thinking of is like it feels like it's leading into a little bit of a power trip. Like,
Is that not
Where-
taking advantage?
where would it stop? Like there has to be a clear indicator of like, where does this stop?
Okay, so here, why don't you just tell us what particularly is the slippery slope? What is the next step and the next step and the next step?
Like, I don't know. Do you want me to like wash your feet? Do you want me to like, I don't know.
That's a slippery slope. I mean, let's even just assume, yes, I want a girl to wash my feet. Would there really can you actually make an argument for why that would be wrong? And she's fine with it?
Like I said, if there's a girl out there, a woman out there who's fine with it, then that's fine. I'm just saying it shouldn't be a standard. It should not be like a regular standard.
Well, men are welcome to have whatever standard they want. Realize that 99.99% of the men in the United States don't want the bow. I'm probably there's 3 dudes. It's me, Q, and Nick back there. That's it, actually. We're the only men in the United States who want the bow.
And that's fine. You can keep it between you 3.
Oh, I'm keeping it between me and the entire world on this podcast.
Okay.